Okay, so let's dive into the story of OpenAI. This is a company that has become so famous, a newspaper once actually compared its celebrity status to Taylor Swift's. And at the very center of this whole global phenomenon is this really powerful vision, right? The promise of a technology that could literally change everything.
And this quote, this is from its CEO, Sam Altman. It tells you everything you need to know about the ambition here. And he said this long before ChatGPT was a name everyone knew. It suggests the goal was never just to build a company, but to create a whole new belief system for the entire world.
Well, this explainer, which is based on Karen Haw's book, Empire of AI, is going to unpack that exact question. And what you find is a story that's not just about technology. It's about a quest for power, the ideology that's fueling it, and the very real, often totally hidden costs of building this new empire.
To really get this empire, you first have to understand its emperor, Sam Altman. And as you're about to see, he is a figure of just fascinating contrasts, a real study in duality.
So on one hand, you've got this visionary, right? The guy his mentor Paul Graham said is extremely good at becoming powerful. But then on the other hand, you have this survivalist, someone so anxious about what's coming that he literally keeps a doomsday bag packed and ready to go at a moment's notice.
So now we're going to talk about the engine of the empire, because it's this very personal duality, this mix of huge ambition and deep anxiety that fuels OpenAI's core philosophy. The book calls it the logic of scale.
The central idea here is, well, it's almost breathtakingly simple. It's the belief that if you just make AI bigger, if you just keep feeding it more and more data, all of its flaws will eventually just disappear. The idea is that scale itself is the path to a kind of technological salvation, an all-powerful AGI that can fix everything from climate change to disease.
So how does this actually work under the hood? Well, fundamentally, it's a game of statistics. The system isn't thinking or understanding the way we do. It's just an incredibly sophisticated pattern matcher. But because it's finding these patterns across billions and billions of data points, its inner workings are pretty much a total mystery to us. It's a black box.
And right there, that is the central problem, isn't it? The logic of scale just assumes that more data is going to fix all the bad patterns. But what if it doesn't? What if it just makes those bad patterns more intricate, more convincing, and even harder for us to spot?
And look, the crucial point here is that these aren't just minor glitches, and simply making the system bigger does not fix them. We're seeing models that repeat real-world biases, that completely invent facts out of thin air, and can even be tricked with surprisingly simple hacks. So bigger doesn't always mean better. Sometimes it just means the mistakes are bigger too.
Okay, so we've seen the ideology, the grand vision. But what is the actual real-world cost of building this empire? It's a price that's paid not just with money, but with human and environmental resources.
$86 billion. That was OpenAI's valuation in early 2024. I mean, it's an absolutely staggering figure built entirely on this promise of scale. But what is that promise really built on?
And then there's this number. Less than $2 an hour, that was the wage paid to workers in Kenya who were hired to do one of the most brutal jobs you can imagine, filtering all the traumatic and violent content out of the training data, just to make products like ChatGPT safer for the rest of us. The book argues that this isn't just a business model. It's a new form of what some people are calling AI colonialism. It's a system where resources, data from all over the internet, cheap labor from places like Kenya, and massive amounts of energy from the planet are all extracted globally to concentrate wealth and power in just a few tech hubs, like Silicon Valley.
And the physical cost, it's just immense. I mean, you can see it right here. The amount of power these data centers need is projected to just skyrocket. They're already the reason some coal plants aren't being retired. And by 2027, the water needed to cool these systems could be nearly half of what the entire United Kingdom uses in a year. This progress has a massive physical footprint.
And the human cost is just as stark. It's paid by people like Moffat Okinyi, who suffered severe psychological trauma from having to read descriptions of sexual abuse, violence, and self-harm all day long. All of that just to protect us, the end users, from the unfiltered reality of the data these models are trained on.
So, if this is the empire, with its grand ideology and its very real costs, the book asks a really critical question. Is there another way forward? Are we just stuck with this?
The core argument is that no, we don't have to just accept this logic of unchecked scale. The book proposes that we can wrest back control with some pretty concrete actions.
demanding transparency and oversight, just like we do for food and drugs, protecting the global workforce with fair labor laws, and investing in different kinds of AI, smaller models designed to solve specific problems, not just chase this abstract dream of AGI.
And that leaves us with the final and most crucial takeaway. The direction that this powerful technology takes, it's not inevitable. It isn't a law of physics. It's the result of human choices. The story of this empire is still being written, and its future can, and frankly must, be shaped by all of us.